Inside the Game, back live across your airwaves here on the National Soccer Network. Nate Wangler alongside Ryan Glinsky. Short time away yesterday. Appreciate you guys sticking with us despite the break. Just had a early game yesterday, an 11 a.m.er in minor league baseball. You don't get a ton of those. The only reason why you typically do is because it's a school kids day, or there's another group of people that you want to get out to the ballpark, which you can't normally do in the evenings. And obviously that was the case yesterday. So tons of school buses, tons of screaming kids.
Yikes.
We almost had a score of 7-6. And I was ready to see the top pop off that place, because 6-7 is still very much a thing, but a fun experience. And oh, Ryan, did you ever go to a baseball game in middle school? Was that ever a thing in terms of
No.
a field trip for you guys? No,
Nope.
that wasn't. All right.
No. Because
All right. I mean, I gotta wonder.
we don't have minor league baseball around us. The only way
That's
we
fair.
can get the only way, which by the way, Fabian says missed you guys yesterday. We missed you too, Fabian. Your team has
Missed you
been.
as well.
I mean, your team has been on something recently. No, we don't have all the minor league, like the Jimmy John's Field that was like in place when I was in high school. So it's not like that was really even a thing. No, because then we'd have to alter with the MLB schedule, and I don't necessarily think high schools really have a or a say in that. Like in my time at Central, they had hoops for Hunger Games with all the kids, but again, on this side of the state, I don't really think the schools have says, and maybe hey, could you guys start a game at 9:00 so we could get our kids there? Yeah, no, I don't really.
I mean,
think
they
we
do have
that
day.
type of pull.
They do have day games from time to time, but I imagine the
Yeah, but you got to do it within the
of,
confines of the school day,
Yeah.
and those day
Right.
games are at 1:00. The school day ends
That's
at
fair.
like 2:30, and
That's
knowing
fair.
baseball,
Yeah,
it ain't ending at 2:30.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, 2:30 or 3. I mean, the game itself might go until that time, so that's why they all get up and leave at the 7th, 8th inning. So, anyways, fun time yesterday. Scott Harris was actually in the building, which was nutty. I actually finally got to meet him.
You say nutty?
Yeah, weird. I didn't expect it. We didn't even know he was coming until
What does
literally like
nutty
we walked,
mean?
like wild, crazy.
I've
I
never
don't
heard
know.
that.
I guess maybe antiquated term, but no, it was Ryan texted. He was blowing up my phone about how I should rip into him about the state of the Detroit Tigers, and I was like, no, man, I can't do that. All right, I gotta wave the pom poms. You know how this goes. But no, I'm kidding. No, he didn't. But I saw him for a little bit, and clearly he's probably going through a lot with how the Tigers are doing right now. The division's weak. So I mean, I guess we
Our
kind of
team's
get away
weak.
with that, but.
We got no
so
bats, no pitching.
That's the other part. Yeah, everybody's hurt too. So let's get into our first hour conversation here on Inside the Game. You talk about turmoil. The Tigers is child's play compared to apparently what we're seeing over at Real Madrid. Ryan, what the hell's going on in the clubhouse over there?
I have no idea what's going on there. Here's from what I could tell. This is just one of a tweet. This is what happened. This is what's happened recently. This doesn't even include the craziest stuff that's going on. Rudiger has slapped teammates. Rudiger was screaming at the same player, Alvaro Correas. Then they want Rudiger to apologize, and he's like, "F no, I ain't doing that." And then Alvaro Correas is going to Instagram. The teams are going to social media, which meanwhile, all this is happening. Mbappe's on a yacht somewhere while the season's going on. They're currently in a title race with Barcelona, and they're like, yeah, no, we're good. Let's not do that at all. Tchouaméni and Valverde got into a fight for a couple days in a row. I can get more into depth on what has truly happened here shortly after this, but this is just the Cliff Notes version. Valverde was in the hospital yesterday for a brain trauma. He can't even play against Barcelona now because he's got his head was split open yesterday during his fight. Mbappe, verbal fights with members of the coaching staff. Real Madrid, they've reduced training because they don't want fights and they need their players ready to go. There's apparently a mole inside in the locker room, inside the dressing room, telling everyone all this information. Multiple players in the dressing room are not happy with everyone's efforts. And to get to the Tchouaméni thing and the Mbappe thing, which is the most intriguing part of all of this. And yes, Fabian, I do know about the now 40 million signatures to get Mbappe off of Real Madrid. But the Chouameni Valverde situation, apparently Chouameni went in on a hard tackle at training to Valverde. Valverde was pissed off about it. Chouameni's like, hey, man, I didn't mean it or anything like that. Following day, Valverde he starts going ham on Chouameni, I guess. He's making all these slide tackles. He even actually made a slide tackle that lifted Chouameni off the floor, apparently. He went parallel with the turf, I guess. And all of a sudden, this turned into everyone just fighting each other in the locker room. And those two, even Arbeloa tried to put both of these players on the same team in training and was like, this might calm things down. And nope, that it just got worse. They were like basically attacking each other in training. After training, they get into a fight. Valverde gets his head split open. He's currently in the hospital right now with Arbeloa with him, and he's expected to make a 2-week recovery, something like that, which means he's going to miss El Clasico, and you don't want one of your key midfielders being out for a game like that. And then Mbappe, obviously 40 million signatures from the Real Madrid fans all across the world on a petition to get Kylian Mbappe out of the club. I will have a solution. I know the solution for you guys, for Real Madrid fans after this, but Nate, just hear your thoughts on just the craziness that is currently going on. It's a bunch of adults acting like children right now.
When the best player on your team, when the one that's supposed to be the guy for your club that's leading the way, if he's not making other people better, if he's a cancer in the locker room, and if he's only adding fuel to the fire that we are seeing, which is, again, is burning down the house at Real Madrid, you really have a problem. I mean, you have a deep, deep problem when he doesn't have the leadership skills to be able to, I guess, in one way or another, kind of have a come to Jesus meeting with his players and be able to sit them down and look like, hey guys, this is disjointed. This is messy. Mbappe, in the way that he has acted, and I don't blame any of the 40 million people that have signed onto that. I mean, it's almost like the fans demanding that he be traded as opposed to the player himself demanding to get traded, which I don't know why Mbappe wouldn't want to separate himself from the situation in the beginning. I don't, probably because of the money he's making, but when your best player is also the biggest cancer in the locker room, it's time to go. It's time to break that relationship up. It's time for Real Madrid to take a long look in the mirror and go, you know what? We need not start over, but very much take a step back if we need to. And that's the most troubling part to me because, I'm watching it, and I know we'll talk about the NBA and everything else coming up later, but, I think about someone like James Harden and how every organization he's gone to, he's like fleeced them for tons of money, but has disappeared in the biggest moments and is also notoriously a cancer in the locker room. Like, I don't care how talented you are, if it comes with all the other baggage that is associated with the emotional side of things, you're only going to continue to tear this organization down, and in the rupture within the locker room is only going to continue to get worse. And the things that you're describing these aren't brush ups. These aren't like, guys. Fighting in the locker room is not something that's particularly new to sports. This happens all over the place. And to a certain extent, I agree, what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room, and it should be that way. But when it's getting this bad, it gets to a certain point to where it's hard to ignore anymore. It's like the same thing with hazing. It's like, well, we've been doing this. Well, the extremes that you took it to eventually led itself to someone within that situation blowing the whistle. And, I know, the whole saying snitches get stitches, but the reality is that, this is good journalism. This is the opposite of what we normally see, which is team reporters who, in a lot of ways get kind of wave the pom-poms. In 2026, clubs and teams don't need reporters the way they used to once upon a time. The reason being is because they have these mediums. They have podcasts, they have social media, they can go find it somewhere else. And so in order to find stuff like this and to give the fans a true image of what just a dumpster fire this is, oftentimes they have to go to social media and they have to go to these platforms. And the only way you're going to get that is by someone in that camp going, listen, this has gotten so bad to the point to where this needs to be out there. This needs to be talked about. And it'd be one thing if you showed me that list and it was a couple of things, or it was a Mbappe's being a prima donna. We have to deal with this. Those are all things that, you know what, organizations deal with. But this, in a player in the hospital, yeah, it's hard to ignore that anymore. And frankly, I don't think you can ignore it anymore. And, you might be like, okay, well, that's not all Mbappe's fault. And I'll give you that. It's not all Mbappe's fault. But much in the same way that we blame head coaches for losing the locker room. I mean, it could just be a beef between a couple of players, maybe whatever it is. But if we blame coaches for the inability to keep any level of camaraderie in the locker room, we need to be willing to blame the star player as well. And Kylian Mbappe is that, and he has lost the plot with this locker room for Real Madrid. This is brutal, Ryan. I didn't know it was this bad. I mean, I know Mbappe is who he is, and I'm sure he probably believes he's the best in the world, but I didn't think it was this bad.
I don't think it falls all on Mbappe.
No, it doesn't.
I don't think it falls really on the management, the upper management of the club to just keep it this toxic. Which, by the way, congratulations to Manchester United. You guys are no longer the most toxic club in the world. It now goes to Real Madrid. You guys no longer have all these issues. It now solely goes to Real Madrid. So congratulations to Los Blancos. You guys have it. Yeah. And just for reference, Madrid Zone is not like an actual, they're not actual reporters. They're just fans that have a very big Twitter account. And
clearly someone leaked this information. I'm just saying they don't
someone inside the dressing room, I guess, is leaking all this information. It's a player that they have yet to name. And I will tell you the solution of this is very simple for Real Madrid. You just bring in Jose Mourinho. You bring in Jose Mourinho. He tried it at Manchester United. He succeeded a little bit. But he was already at Real Madrid in its heyday with Ronaldo, Benzema, Modric, blanking on some Pepe, Sergio Ramos, Casillas, all those dogs, all those great players. Marcelo, he already knows what needs to happen at Real Madrid in order to succeed. And when he was doing that, that was the biggest. That was when El Clasico was at its peak. Everyone was just crashing out on each other. Everyone was fighting each other. It was peak El Clasico back then. And then Mourinho obviously left, brought in Zidane. But this generation of Real Madrid players, it's not the Real Madrid of old. It's a lot of very egotistical, doesn't lead. They're just there for themselves. Like, look at Vinny Jr. I don't think Mbappe is a horrible person. I just don't think he wants to be a leader. I just think he just wants to go out and ball and just get all the perks of what it is as being one of the best soccer players in the world. I don't think he really wants to lead. I think he just wants to to hang out and do what he really wants to do. Like, you don't have the leaders of what you had: Benzema, Ronaldo, Ramos, Marcelo, Modric, Toni Kroos, Casemiro. You don't have those guys anymore. Now it's just a bunch of individual players that just kind of hate each other and there for just a massive payday. This is basically what Manchester United used to be and kind of still is. But you bring in Mourinho, he immediately shows up, and within the first couple days, probably the first 24 hours, he will have a meeting with every single player and basically tell them, I'm selling you. I don't care how good you are. You are being sold. You are not a part of this team, and you're gone. And he will probably sell Vinny Jr., Tchouaméni, Valverde. I think he probably likes Antonio Rudiger. Mbappe might be out the door. I don't really know. Mourinho might have a change of heart and all that stuff. But he gets that in, and then all of a sudden, he's going to bring in his guys this summer. I know with the World Cup going on, it's going to take a minute to bring in all these types of players. But Mourinho's going to show up. He's going to make sure everyone, stands in a straight line, sits up straight. It's not goofing around in film, making sure everyone is prepared properly. And what happened with the Valverde Tchouaméni situation should have been handled way differently. If you're Arbeloa, the manager of Real Madrid, the first instance you see this happen, and it obviously Tchouaméni's like, hey man, bro, I'm sorry, whatever. And the moment you see Valverde start crashing out, you take both of them and you sit them out the rest of the training. I don't know how Arbeloa just did not do that. Like, you see them crashing out on each other. You see that they're trying to hurt each other. Here's what you do. You separate them and you just send them along their ways, or you just let them go run. You let them go run sprints up and down the field next to it. I don't know how you allowed both of them to even train. together after what you've been seeing go on. And it turns into this where one of your best midfielders, who you are in a title race right now, a club where your best midfielder is not going to be in the game because you allowed Tchouaméni and Valverde to escalate each other, and now one dude is in the hospital with his head split open. That is your issue. That is your problem, Arbeloa. That is really Bush League. You should have, and I should say Bush League. That is poor management from you, Arbeloa. I get it why Xabi Alonso wanted to step away from this club. He tried to do everything he could and just didn't work out. I understand why Xabi now left. But that is poor management from Arbeloa, the Real Madrid staff. It was horrible the way this thing was treated.
Yeah, it's not just, I mean, it's poor management, yes, but it's just an inability to control the room. Yeah, frankly, like, people just don't respect you. Your players don't respect you, and that's the biggest problem. And so a change in leadership, 100%. I can certainly see what you're talking about there. But yeah, man, I didn't know it was as bad. And fighting between teammates is not necessarily like a bad thing necessarily. No. Truth is, like, I would like it as a manager or a coach. You know, like I've heard people talk about, and you know, guys I've known that I've played at like the college level have been like, yeah, I mean, if there was ever any infighting, like that wasn't a bad thing. You know, family fights, brothers fight, like that's how this works. I mean, even Ryan and I don't necessarily see eye to eye on everything that we're doing, but you know, we're all doing it in the hopes that we can get this show to
we punch each other through the screen after the show's done.
Through the phone. Yeah, exactly. But you know, that part of it is not a bad thing. But when we're getting to the point of players getting hospitalized. And now the bigger thing is that it's affecting the way that you prepare for games. It all has an impact in the way that, you know, things end up turning out and maybe the lack of results. And so I know that Mbappe maybe doesn't want to be a leader, but again, and I think we've had the same conversation with Christian Pulisic. At a certain point, because of your skill set and who you are and the acumen and the resume and everything else along those lines, like you have to in some way, if you don't want to be the one that leads in other respects, whatever, but you still have to realize the impact that you have. And not only that, but the power that your words carry. You know, I know like he probably doesn't view himself as his superior, but you know, to the guys in that room, to the guys that are around him, his words matter. So that's, you know, that's just the way that I would say that.
Yeah. A couple comments coming in. Fabian says, send Mbappe to Liverpool to compensate for Mo Salah. Carvajal is the mole. I mean, Carvajal's been there since like the heydays with them winning 3 straight Champions Leagues and now to this. So he might just be fed up with everything with how things are going. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that Carvajal could potentially be a mole in all this situation. I just think if you're Real Madrid, you've got to clean slate this thing. You've got to get rid of all the bad cancers or whatever it is. Whoever that new manager is, preferably Jose Mourinho, he sits down with every single player and just basically says if you're good or not, and he ships you out if you're not, because you've got to get this thing rolling, because crashing out in the quarterfinals 2 years in a row in the Champions League is not up to their standard. It might be up to some club standards, but not Los Blancos. Their standard is you've got to win the Champions League. It's almost like a cult when you're in the Champions League playing Real Madrid. Like Gareth Bale talked about. He's like, yeah, I'm in the hotel with the team, and all of a sudden the owners and the not the FIFA presidents, the club presidents are like showing up to our hotels to talk about how big these games are. It's like, dude, it's a round of 16 game against like Benfica. We'll take care of them, but like, what are you guys doing here? Like, go do something important instead of talk to us. So that's basically what it is. It's a cult in Real Madrid. So, which by the way, I did hear that because there was a couple like iffy penalties in the Arsenal Atletico game. The mayor of Madrid is like trying to like send something to Champions League for like writing a petition to be like, well, you know, we got cheated or something like that. I didn't really read fully into it, but it's like, dude, they take their football, their soccer over in Madrid like, dude, it's like Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or wherever Georgia plays. I don't know where Georgia plays in University of Georgia is. I think Athens maybe.
Yes, Athens, Georgia. Good call. Yeah, good call. Which, speaking of college football, let's talk about coming up next, the World Cup ticket prices. FIFA defending the prices that they're putting out there, comparing it to a lot of the top American sports. It's something that Ryan was saying. Let's talk about that when we come up next. First, let's tell you about FC Bayern Summer Soccer Camps. They are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, fostering football excellence across North America. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, FC Bayern Camps deliver elite training inspired by FC Bayern Munich's world-class philosophy. Select your city and start a promising soccer path. And right now, save $30 on registration by using promo code BayernNSN30. Again, that's BayernNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Learn more at FCBayernYouth.com.
So the dream behind Irene's was simply to be a place where the community could come and gather. This is my hometown, we're raising our family here, and we just want to be a space where people can come together as a community and share a great meal. We've got golf simulators, we got pinball, live music, trivia nights, but we also have fresh, always homemade, locally sourced food, and we serve it with a sense of Gemütlichkeit. This is a German word that conveys a sense of warmth and coziness and belonging. We're excited to show off how we're growing and that this is the place to be.
We're back in live inside the game here, episode number 284 in segment number 2 here between Nate and Ryan Glinsky here. Before we have a couple of people dropping by the show here today, Neil Rule to talk about the upcoming games of the week this weekend in the USLW as well as in the USL 2 ranks. We'll talk to him about that and what he's looking forward to the most in those 2 games. We also have a couple of coaches joining us. Chris Mills of Virginia Beach United around 9:50. We'll also get Lions Bridge FC head coach Chris Wally. Ryan, you had a conversation with him. We'll also work that in. So 3 different people making their appearances here on Inside the Game coming up in a little bit. But let's get into this next topic, Ryan, because I know this is something that we have been talking about for quite some time now, ticket prices, which, I think on its face, it's pretty accurate when people say they're ridiculously expensive. But, it's always figuring out where to blame and who to point the finger at. And so I think we have a different understanding as to who is to really blame for this and why it is the way that it is. But, I'll let you share your opinion.
Yeah, I'm just going to take another victory lap because I've been saying this for months. The reason World Cup ticket prices are crazy is because of you, the American people, because you guys like to spend over thousands of dollars on college football games. And basically, this is what the president was talking about. You cannot go to watch in the U.S. a college game, not even professional, for less than $300. This is the World Cup. We have to look at the market in which entertainment is the most developed in the world, so we have to apply market rates. In the U.S., you can resell tickets, so if we were to sell tickets too low, they would be resold much higher. He also talked about how he's seen someone resell a World Cup final ticket for $2 million. He's like, that's not actually how much the World Cup tickets cost, But Fabian, you are right, too. President Trump also said the tickets are very expensive, too. He did mention that the other day. But this is why World Cup ticket prices are so expensive, because here in America, we have more sports than just soccer. We have NFL, NBA, MLB. MLB is probably the cheapest because there's so many damn games as there is anyway. You can go for $20. But college football is one of the biggest, I think, one of the biggest factors into why these prices are what they are. A couple of years ago, when Michigan brought in Texas to the Big House, I think the average ticket price for the second game of the season for the reigning national champs, which is going to be a way more money than it really should have been, was like average price like $2,000, somewhere in the $1,500 to $2,000 range. That's what the average price for a regular season game at the Big House to watch Michigan versus Texas. Granted, it was a horrible football game if you're a Michigan fan, and from the neutral perspective, because it was a blowout from the very jump. But this is why FIFA saw all these games and thought, okay, you guys spend $500 on not even professional sports, which college sports is kind of professional at this point. You guys spend about $600 to sit in the nosebleeds of Ford Field to watch the Detroit Lions play horrible football against the rest of the league. So we're going to expect that you guys spend crazy amounts of money on NFL games, NBA games, whatever it is. I think Game 7 prices for the nosebleeds at LCA against the Magic was like $400. So that's okay. Well, the prices are like this. Let's just see if you guys would bite on it for the World Cup. Like, this is the biggest tournament in the world. It's the greatest tournament, sports tournament in the entire world. Only happens in a country once every generation, most likely, every 30, 40 years, whatever you want to call it. So let's try it. And I'm not going to fault FIFA for doing that. They're trying to think. They're thinking that, okay, if you're going to spend this much money, you guys would probably spend much money on this. Granted, they're failing at it because no one is really paying that amount of money, but I can't fault them for at least trying and looking at what the rates are. And he's even right about the resale ticket prices. I was able to buy my Bruno Mars tickets for tomorrow at like $190 a piece. I look at it now on the resale market, it's like $500, $600 or whatever it is. That's also a factor in all of this, is people will probably buy the tickets at the cheapest price from FIFA itself, and then they will probably try to resell this thing if they don't even really want to go to the game. The resale market is something that is crazy, and it baffles my mind. That's why some people, as a side hustle, probably go to buy season tickets for whatever game and then just sell the tickets and not even really attend the games. I know people who do that as a side hustle. I know people that do that. So, you, America, are why World Cup ticket prices are what it is, and I've been telling you for months. And now that the FIFA president says it, I hope you guys finally take my word for it. Hey, you're all good, Dave. It's all good for being late. The one day off has put him off the schedule a little bit. Dave, we appreciate you for coming back in. But yeah, ticket prices, you, America, are why they're expensive.
Yeah, hey, what's up, Dave? Appreciate you jumping back in. They do have an official platform set up to take 15% commission from both buyer and seller, so 30% total on all ticket transactions. The resale market, they have something set up in order to actually capitalize and make money off of resale. For example, like the couple of tickets that have popped up for over $2 million to the final, they would collect essentially $690,000 in fees in that single ticket resale. FIFA would. So yes, nice. So that they're actually capitalizing off the resale. So them claiming that, somehow that would be a problem, that it's funny when you're actually involved in it. I think what Gianni Infantino is saying shows a fundamental lack of understanding mixed with a little bit of arrogance as well. And I really think it starts with the sentiment that you can't go to any game in the United States, not even pro, college, without spending at least $300 on a ticket.
Hey, if you're a student at CMU, you get in for free.
And there you go. That on its face is blatantly incorrect. I don't even have to do any sort of background research or anything on any of that in order to know that is incorrect. I went to go watch a Michigan game 2 years ago, and I went there for $50 a ticket. Now, again,
where'd you sit though?
So let's, I don't know, probably 50 rows up, close to the 50-yard line.
Sense.
So
for what game?
I mean, it was Michigan, and who were they playing? Michigan MSU, Michigan. Yeah, it was the Michigan State game. Not 2 years ago. Was it last year? 2 years ago? I don't know. Anyways.
It was 2 years ago. That's a horrible matchup. That was a horrible game to watch.
Okay. Yeah. So, but anyways. So that on its face is automatically incorrect. You can't say that any college game, let alone pro, you're spending $300. That is wrong. But let's take a look at some of our comparisons. I mean, if we're going to compare to what Americans are spending on professional events, again, going back to just the fundamental lack of understanding. Outkick reported in December that get-in prices for all 4 college football playoff quarterfinals were all below $300 on SeatGeek at the time of publication. Ohio State, Miami in the Cotton Bowl, you could get in for $32. Oregon, Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl was $50. Indiana, Alabama at the Rose Bowl was $117. Georgia, Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl was $219.
That's the average price, or is that just...
Those are the average get-in price at the time of publication. You could have gone to those games for those rates. Outkick reported in January that the 2 NFL wildcard games, Rams, Panthers, Texans, Steelers, had a get-in price at under $200 on TickPicks, while Eagles, 49ers, Patriots, and Chargers were just over $200. If we're talking about premium seating, okay, well, first of all, let's go even further than that, right? Even wildcard weekend, right? The first postseason round of America's most popular sport didn't automatically mean every ticket started at $300. Matter of fact, many of them were well below $300, which, by the way, is less expensive than what it would cost to go watch Australia and Jordan in the group stage. So this insinuation that because premium seats at premium games in the United States are utterly ridiculous. Oh, and by the way, Americans already have a problem with how expensive ticket prices are in the United States. Like, that's already a problem here in the U.S. I realize some people in organizations and the 1%ers are willing to spend that money, but there's already an issue there. But to draw this comparison and claim that, well, you looked at the numbers, well, you know exactly what we're willing to spend, but yet the group stage and these other matches leading up to the World Cup final, let's just leave the semi and the World Cup off the table for a second. All right, let's just forget about those, what would it be, 3 matches, right? The 2 semis or whatever. So let's leave that off the table for a second. Everything else leading up to that point. Your group stage tickets are far more expensive than the college football playoffs in the NFL and majority of the NFL playoffs. And by the way, that's the most popular sport here in the United States, to your point. So that's where, when we talk about the fundamental lack of understanding when it comes to Infantino in the American public, you're right. It is the World Cup. You are 100% correct. But you are saying that it is coming from a place of arrogance and saying that, well, because you spend that much money on American football, you should be willing to spend even more money to come watch the World Cup. Again, we can say whatever we want to say, and we can twist numbers to make it look however it is we want to look. But on its face, exactly what he said is incorrect. And according to the Times, Infantino said 25% of group stage World Cup tickets are priced below $300. FIFA clearly wants to sound reasonable. Maybe it is. But depending on the match, again, the World Cup is a premium event, and premium events cost money. But the whole under $300 is a cheap shot, and it is cheap by American sports standards. That's much, much harder to sell. So again, there's a big difference between, a playoff game and a championship game, and I understand the difference. But if you even look at the numbers on their face, from what he said about you can't go to any college football game without spending $300 on a ticket, and look at the numbers. Okay, you didn't look at the numbers, you didn't do your research, you don't understand. So that statement is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So to your point, 2026 NFL average playoff ticket for everything was over $300 for everything. Let's see here. NFL divisional, $900. God dang. So they're looking at everything else, and they're like, it's some places can be cheap. We talked about it with the Rams and the Lions. The cheapest game for a Lion fan to go to was all the way out to LA. That's the cheapest ticket price that they could have gotten. So there's certainly some organizations that are cool with, prices being prices, but some aren't. So they looked at the general consensus, I'm sure, and were like, boom. We're charging these prices, and they've gone down a little bit. Our guy
Oh, they
Fabian
have.
over here does the same thing with Yankees tickets. He's been a season ticket holder for 27 years for the Yankees, but only goes
Wow.
to the playoffs. So Fabian, you're the issue, damn it. You're the issue for all this stuff. Damn. I'm just kidding, Fabian. We appreciate
That's
you, my
funny.
man. But that is also a little bit of a part of our American culture. One of my buddies has Red Wings season tickets. He goes to like half the games and resells them for more than $100 than what the normal price would be, and everyone buys them. That's a big issue in the world or in the United States sports ticket market, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But that's a massive issue.
By the way, I just wanted to work in that I was a lot of what I got right there was from The Guardian. The Guardian is based in London. Okay, like the European Sports Commission has raised the biggest in terms of, red flags or getting into FIFA's chest about, hey, this is ridiculous. This is coming from The Guardian. This is not coming from an American publication. So that's what, to me, yeah, it's easy to just point the finger at Americans and be like, you guys are just complaining for no reason. They weren't the ones who wrote that article. Now, mind you, Fox and the Wall Street Journal, and they also had pieces on it, but this is coming from The Guardian, which is based in London. So, I mean, credit to the Londonites and the Englishmen for actually sticking up for the U.S. and pointing out the BS double standard.
They have issues with their ticket prices. They've had it for decades where fans are fed up with their ticket prices, and so they also have their own ticket issues. We can go back to their way. Everyone's got ticket issues. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows how much tickets cost and how absurd amounts of money. The only way I was able to get cheap, affordable Michigan basketball tickets this year is because I kind of picked matchups where I thought they might not be so good, and then find out one of them's a top 5 matchup I got for $50, and because I chose it back in November. No one thought Nebraska would be good at basketball. Fabian says, yes, I am the issue. So, yeah, Fabian, I'm glad you're able to pick up on why you are an issue here in the tickets. All I'll say is that, this is another comment I want to get to. Fabian says, I saw the tickets for a possible Messi versus Ronaldo matchup. It was $6,000. Yeah, that's because that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You're telling me FIFA, who has been their crown jewels for the last 20 years, 15 years, give or take, 20, 15 years, give or take, you're telling me, and they finally could get them in a World Cup matchup, you're telling me they're not going to take advantage of that? Granted, Ronaldo probably wouldn't be playing because, dude, buns at this point, but you're telling me they wouldn't take advantage of all that? It'd be like if somehow MJ and LeBron played each other in, like, we had a Magic Ball and they each played in the same era, and all of a sudden those two guys are going to be in the NBA Finals or something. You're telling me those tickets wouldn't be, jacked up?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Or I imagine Magic and Larry once upon a time was probably like a ticket price that no one's ever seen before. Like when those
$70. Dang.
Lakers and Celtics. Yeah. Ooh.
$70. That's a big ask. But yeah, no, it's obviously tickets are out of hand here with the World Cup. But guys, I've been telling you what the reason is because they probably looked at the Super Bowl, which is like over $8,000 for a seat. Yeah. They looked at all those things, and they, in their eyes, in the World Cup's eyes, no matter if it's a group stage match or no matter if it's a round of 16, 32, whatever it is, in FIFA's eyes, that a World Cup match is a premium sporting event, no matter who's playing, because in their eyes, the World Cup is the greatest tournament, which I would agree with, and it happens once every 4 years. It only happens in a country once every 30, 40 years or anything like that. That's what, in their eyes, every World Cup match is a Super Bowl, essentially. That's what they are thinking, regardless if it's two nations who have no business even being there. That's what they're thinking. And they are looking at all the Super Bowls, the NBA Finals, the NBA. They probably looked at the Pistons versus Magic Game 7. We're like, dude, you're going to sit all the way up in the heavens for $400 in the last row of LCA? Jeez. That's a waste of money, my friend. That's all I got to say to that part.
The problem, I think, is just the differentiating between what is a group stage game and what is a World Cup final. Like the American audience knows better than I think what he's giving them credit for. FIFA right now is they're trying to blur those lines between what a group stage, again, a matchup between Jordan and Australia and what the World Cup final is. Again, that's why I said take the World Cup final out of this, because the reality is that you're going to take out a second mortgage to go to a Super Bowl. You're going to take out a second mortgage to go to, I don't know about a college football championship, but you're probably going to spend a lot of money. To go to a Final Four, you're going to spend a bajillion dollars. It's going to be the same thing for the World Cup final, because it's going to be two world sides, and it's going to be legendary, the way that it always is.
The last World Cup final was the greatest sport event I've ever watched in my life, which, by the way, we got journalist Dave in the YouTube chat. Dave goes, just Googled it. Category 1 price, 1994, $475, $390. This is every year. 2002, $660. 2010, $900. 2014, $990. 2018, you finally get over $1,000. 2022, $1,600. And 2026, $8,680. Steady rise until now. And that's just for the final. Oh, that's just for the final. Gotcha. Okay, that's for the final of the World Cup final.
But it is across the board, though. Yeah,
huh?
It's also across. It is also across the board. But yes, you're right. The final is
at the same time. At the same time, who are the majority of people that go to American sporting events? Celebrities and people who want to post for the Instagram. They don't care as long as they're sitting close so they can get the Instagram posts out. It's not like in Europe where European soccer where they're all like everyone from top to bottom, even the celebrities are there are diehards. Like what's the guy Loki? Tom Hiddleston, Tom Hiddleston, whatever his name is, dude. He's diehard up there. He's crashing out with the rest of us, man. He is as diehard. We got KSI up there. He's a celebrity, obviously, and he's crashing out with us too because every celebrity is a diehard fan of these teams. I would like to see what Anne Hathaway looks like up there in the boxes. Or Dua Lipa was crashing out damn near. So like, these are just Arsenal fans, by the way. But I am just telling you that also a lot of people go to sport events just to take selfies and post on Instagram. We went to the World Cup final. Like you're telling me Kim Kardashian care? Do you think you're telling me Kim Kardashian cares about who's playing in the World Cup? No, she's just there so she can post on Instagram.
I wouldn't say that's the majority of American fans who would want to go to the World Cup. I think there's a lot of people that would want to go, that would want to watch ball. But yes, you're right. I mean, there is a celebrity culture. I mean, I imagine a Dodgers ticket is the most expensive in Major League Baseball because of the celebrity impact. I imagine a ticket to the New York Knicks is probably the most expensive in basketball because of the celebrity impact, right? And because you have Celebrity Row. So, no, I get it, but I think that's a little cheap. I think that's selling the American audience a little bit short to say that, they're all there for vanity.
I get it, but I understand what you're saying, and I think the prices are crazy, but I'm just telling you, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah. Neil Kennedy will save us. He will save all of us.
Jesus.
I'm just saying. I mean, now that Johnny Cardoso is hurt and is probably not going to play in the World Cup for the U.S., do we get Neil Kennedy a shot? My man's been grinding away. I'm just saying. He has been grinding and slaving.
Which maybe Neil Rule can get a shot at playing. Maybe he can step away from the commentator's booth and get up on the field with them.
Yes, sir. Neil Rule joining us here on Inside the Game here on 284. That's coming up next. First, let's tell you about Barca Academy, a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network and the official academy of FC Barcelona in the United States. Designed for boys and girls ages 6 to 18, Barca Academy camps follow and replicate the FC Barcelona game model. Same philosophy used by Barca's professional coaching staff. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code FCB30. Again, that's FCB30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Learn more at fcbarcelona.us/camps.
In Barca camp, I see my son grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
Inside the Game continues here, episode 284. Just waiting on Neil Rule. Should be in here shortly here on Inside the Game. Wanted to update you guys on a few things, though. Again, final episode of the week this week. Give us a follow on social media, Inside the Game, as well as Sports Nation. That is sports with a Z. We're going to be posting all about this. Again, games of the week coming up this weekend. Finally getting the USL season kicked off and underway. Virginia Beach United on the USL 2 side taking on Lionsbridge FC. Some other key matchups I guess we can list off and get into here before we get into that conversation. But Philadelphia Lone Star taking on Westchester United SC. That one coming up on Saturday as well. That's a 4 p.m. Eastern time game. Also, Fort Worth Vaqueros FC taking on Denton Diablos FC. That game is at 7:30. That's in the Ranger division in the USL 2. One last matchup, by the way, that we wanted to focus on. Elmadin FC taking on San Francisco FC. That one at 5 o'clock. And then Ryan, obviously the USLW, which has been a smashing success on our network. They're coming up as well. Their game of the week, Monterey-based Sirens taking on Stockton Cargo SC. That one is Saturday. Again, that's a 10 o'clock Eastern time. So if you're over here in the Midwest, it's going to be a late one, but 7 o'clock Pacific time. Key NorCal division matchup really to start the season. You like it that way. You like the high leverage games to be game number one. I think that's great. That's like seeing two SEC teams clash in week one. I love seeing it in the USLW. You also got FC Olympia and Snohomish United. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. That's at 5:30. Chattanooga Red Wolves FC 1 Knoxville is at 7:30. And then Oakland Soul SC against Marion FC Siren. That one coming up at 6 o'clock Eastern time. So that's a look at our upcoming USL 2 and USLW matchups. Ryan, I guess I'll ask you before we get into that conversation, if we get into that conversation, what are you looking forward to the most with everything coming up this weekend? It's going to be a packed summer.
My Bruno Mars concert. That's what I'm looking forward to the most this weekend. No, it's
that's true. I forgot you're at Bruno tomorrow. You're
I
out
won't be
and
able
about.
to do game of the week this week with Krieger and Neil Rule. A little sad about that, but what's really nice, with talking with Coach Wally this week and learning more about this matchup, Lionsbridge and Virginia Beach. It's a true rivalry over there in the Chesapeake division over in Virginia. They always play tight. It's a tightly contested game. The fan bases are always into it, so it's going to be a great game. And you'll hear about Chris's response where it's like, what's it like? It being the first match of the year for you guys is that. So I'm pretty excited for that. But it's going to be great soccer all the way around. San Juan yesterday played in the USL 2. And that was a great matchup. Obviously, we saw here on the National Soccer Network. I don't see Neil, but I'm pretty sure I see Coach Chris Mills. So maybe we'll get him here on first when it gets all situated. I'll shoot him a text. But it's a very, very, very fun weekend. Yeah, sorry, you kind of cut me off. I'm trying.
No, you're good. No, you're good. Chris Mills will be joining us. And obviously has a lot of good things to say. And so we'll talk to him about, leading in here to the USL season. Of course, a lot of good things to catch up with him on. And you're right. I mean, a rivalry matchup to kick off the year, you can't really get any better than that, and so that's what, in terms of the building of the excitement and, getting the teams to really get into it, and the fans too. I think that is a really, really good place to start. So obviously a star-studded broadcast crew over there for us, and we obviously appreciate the work that Neil does on our network. But yes, Chris Mills, the head coach at Virginia Beach United, will be joining us here on the show. And I know that obviously you've been doing a lot of conversations with different coaches throughout the course of the year leading up to all this. So let's get Chris here on the show. Chris Mills,
Chris,
how's it going?
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing good
As we get ready for the season here. Excited to see what you guys have to show, what you guys have to offer. What are your expectations heading into this weekend?
Yeah, I think this is obviously a unique start to the season where, it's the first game of the year. We're still waiting for some players to. So I think we don't know what we really are yet. I'm sure they're probably in the same situation. But, ultimately we're going out to get 3 points. That's the big goal that we have. So.
Chris, what's it like knowing that you guys, your team, your boys are going to be in the inaugural USL2 game of the week?
Yeah, I didn't know this was the first one. I've heard a lot about it that we're the game of the week. Every time I get down to the stadium for training at night, I know he's pretty excited. I know the boy. Like anytime we can, get that publicity is good for our program. I feel like the past few years we've kind of taken a step to establish ourselves as one of the better teams in the USL2, and we want to kind of keep that going forward.
Obviously, your history in the Virginia area, Virginia Wesleyan, you got a deep history before obviously coming into this role, now into your third season. How is, building the team come together? Some players that maybe you're looking at to make a big impact here this weekend already.
Yeah, I think, obviously building the team has changed a little bit over the past, few years. I think the first year I was there, I brought a lot of guys that I was familiar with, whether who played for me or who I recruited at the college level, and unfortunately didn't get them, but I knew them really well, and I was comfortable coaching them, and obviously just using some connections that I had, in the college world. I think as it's gone on now in year three, we've used some of the connections that we've had through players that we've brought in who've had great experiences, and kind of, getting their friends, whether they play at the universities they're at or, back from where they're from. We've kind of grown it from there. So I think the buildup of the team has changed a little bit from how it was 3 years ago. But no, we're definitely excited with the group that we have. I think we have some key guys coming back. Obviously, Alex Moody has been fantastic for our club. I was fortunate to coach him, in college, and had a chance to really get to know him in high school, as through the recruiting process, and he's been great, for honestly for me everywhere I've been. I think the mentality he brings is huge. And then we have some other key guys, that are coming back as well. We have Jack Lewis in the midfield for Edmondson, in the course is we have a lot excited about, but we have some new guys who we're looking forward to kind of taking that step. Some of them last night was their first training session. They just got here, so we feel like we have an idea of what we have, but until we actually get out there Saturday night, we're not really exactly sure.
What are some of the keys for you guys to get all 3 points this weekend?
Yeah, I think the message that I kind of gave our guys last night, I think the teams that are successful early on are the teams that can be the most organized. I think if you can kind of bring your group together and get organized as quickly as possible, then I think you're in a pretty good situation. I think, bringing the players in that fit our system and style, hopefully it's a quick transition, and they understand what we're trying to do. I think the message that we told our guys last night is no matter what formation we're in, we're hoping that they have that soccer savviness that we can make adjustments, to fit, what we're trying to do. So here tonight, I think we'll have 30 guys that'll be here for the weekend. They'll be at training tonight, but we're excited, and hopefully we're ready to go tomorrow.
We are so excited to be able to cover you guys this season. Best of luck in game one. Go get them, and go get those 3 points.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you,
That's Chris Mills joining us here on Inside the Game.
Yeah,
Appreciate Coach for stopping by.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Getting all these coaches on. Obviously, we'll be doing this every Friday from as the season goes along. Very fun one. Fun interview, and I'm ready for this game too. It's gonna be fun to see. I still don't see Neil on at all. So how about this? You tell us about Manchester City soccer camps. And depending on where Neil is, we will throw the other coach interview, or maybe we'll if he's still hopping on.
Yeah.
We will go over some questions with you guys. So if you got any questions, we can throw those in too.
Sounds good. Yeah. So potentially on the other side again, Lionsbridge FC head coach Chris Valley joined Ryan for a one-on-one interview. So we'll mix that one into the mix as well. But first, Man City Soccer Camps, proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, bringing world-class training inspired by Man City's global football philosophy to players across the United States. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, these camps focus on technical development, decision-making, and playing the game the City way. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code MCNSN30. Again, that's MCNSN30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at usacamps.mancity.com. Wangler and Ryan Glinsky, episode 284 here on the National Soccer Network. Last show of the week here on Friday. Our producer and Ryan has been a madman all day today, multitasking, checking his computer and also responding to questions. You are a very talented producer, Ryan Glinsky. Let me just put that out there. I know they trained you up well over at Woodward and all the different places that you've had stops along the way. So good on you, man, for balancing all this. Just wanted to let you know how much I really appreciate it, dude. You do a really good job. So thanks for everything you do.
Appreciate it, Nate. I gotta then give a shout out to my man JB, who JB over there, JB Smooth. He taught me about all this stuff, and then John helped me along the way too, and all this. So don't know yet if Neil's coming on or not. So I figured we should just talk about the Shakira comments that I got on the video yesterday. Because it's about 84,000 views on TikTok, about 100 comments from you guys. You guys really, really liked the video. I just put an 8-second clip of her song, and then they're just me reacting, saying, "Thank God we had this instead of Jelly Roll." So this one, the first
We
comment
just be
coming
clip
in
farming.
from
Go
Go Jorky. I can't understand why so many people care about the World Cup song. It's about the sport. Look, why do you think so many people care about when March Madness comes around and they hear dun, 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 they like the song. They like it. Why do you think NBC Sunday Night Football has been waiting all day? Like, everyone likes the music. The music is a part of it. It helps build the hype. And our good friends at For the Crew podcast actually responded for us and says the music builds the hype. And these guys know exactly what they're talking about.
Everything.
The music is a part of these tournaments and a part of these competitions.
Well done, Ryan. Well done, Ryan. The NHL on NBC theme song. You want to know the dorkiest thing about me? You want to know the thing about me that people are like, that's weird. Sometimes the NHL on NBC, NBA on ABC, as in like when LeBron and the Warriors were going after it in the finals, like I can hear Mike Breen's voice, and the college basketball March Madness theme song. Sometimes I'll just pop them on and listen to them because they just put a smile on my face. Like, it immediately reminds me of memories. I think of the Game 7 chase down block from LeBron James when I hear that NBA theme song, right? When I hear the March Madness, I think of the Michigan moments. I think of the championship, right? When I hear the NHL on NBC, I think Sidney Crosby Penguins, Henrik Zetterberg Red Wings, Pavel Datsyuk, like those games, those matchups, legendary matchups between the Pens and the Wings once upon a time. Those are the memories that are brought up. And when we listen to Shakira, that's the first thing I think of is like FIFA in like the World Cup. So no, it absolutely 100% matters. Absolutely.
So, and what I would say is Shakira has made. I didn't even listen to the song fully. I just saw Shakira was on the thing, and I go, all right, it's already good. It's already, because what she did in 2010, I saw someone say this is the closest we ever got to world peace in this world, was the 2010 Waka Waka song. And I kind of agree with it. I kind of agree. It's an unbelievable song. And to be fair, Shakira kind of ruined how good these World Cup songs are, because like with what she did in 2010, nothing will beat it. What she did in 2014 was a very good song too. To be honest with you, I don't even know the names of these songs. I just kind of know how like the beats and the chorus go. And then obviously 2018 with Will Smith was in one of them. I thought that was a good one. 2022, oh God, that was worse than Jelly Roll song. I mean, God dang. But here's what we're gonna do. Neil will be on at 10:15. So we will we'll have the interview up with Chris Wally right now, and then after that, a little commercial break, and then we will go to Neil Rule, and we'll preview these two matchups here this weekend. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds good to me. Let's do it.
All right, let's. Live on the National Soccer Network, we have Lionsbridge FC head coach Chris Wally. Chris, how are you doing here today?
Yeah, doing great. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Obviously, you're getting ready to get things rolling this season. How do you like the team? How does the team look right now?
Well, we've only had a few days of practice. We worked really hard to put a good group together. Through all our college contacts, and from some guys who've maybe been playing in the league above. So trying to put a team together, and it's been good. It's been difficult because I think we had 10 or 11 guys go on to pro level after last season. So bit of a rebuild, but yeah, we'll see how we get on.
You guys, the last couple of years have been phenomenal, making 5 straight playoffs, have won the Chesapeake Division a handful of times. But last year, you guys didn't win it for the Chesapeake Division for the first time in a couple of years. Is that one of your main goals this season, and how do you guys try to obtain it?
Yeah, of course, you want to win your regular season, just like any league. Winning's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it, and everyone would do it all the time. So it's going to be a whole lot of hard work. We want to win the league. We want to try and make playoffs. I think one of our biggest achievements is we made the last 8 in the country 3 years in a row. I don't know if any other franchise has done that. And obviously one of them, we went to a national final. So I'm a big believer in numbers. And I think if you keep getting to the last 8 and you keep winning championships, sooner or later, hopefully all things will fall our way. But yeah, it's all about the process. If we do the right things, we work hard, we train properly, and we recruit good players, then we should have another really good season. Very excited.
You guys have been close a handful of times of winning that national championship, getting that top dog crown. What are some things that you guys are trying to do to just get yourselves over that hump and finally become national champions?
I think obviously with the landscape college soccer changing and this league being predominantly a lot of college players, we tried to make sure we get a group where the guys will be able to stay the whole season. I think anybody who came to our games last season would probably believe that our group mid-June was as good a group as we've ever had. But by July, we'd lost players going back to colleges, injuries and so forth. So I think having a squad that will, bear the test of time, if that makes sense, and be able to stay together and united all the way through. And sometimes you also need a little bit of luck as well along the way. But I think if we feel like we put a roster together like that as a staff, both Josh Spencer, Josh Baker, we put a really good roster together. We're excited about that and through the recruitment process. And there's no perfect science to it. So hopefully the right things though.
Speaking of your guys' roster, you've got players from Portugal, England, Netherlands, France, a couple other countries, and even here in the U.S. Has that been any difficult at all, trying to integrate, the different cultures, the different backgrounds with all these different players?
I think obviously most of our internationals have played at the collegiate level somehow, so that pieces already, you know, they're already kind of acclimatized to American soccer. And, you know, one of the things is different from obviously when the guys are coming out of college and playing our league differently. You know, we don't have the you know, in terms of like the rolling subs and things like that, and the subbing rules are different and that kind of stuff. So more kind of teaching and educating the guys, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think obviously team unity is massive in any level of sports. So working and making sure the group's all bought into the same process and doing the right things on and off the field here and in the town that we're in. Newport News is a great place, and we've got an unreal support base. But we want the guys to that and be here for the right reasons.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit today that you guys are one of the toughest places to play in all of USL2. You just mentioned the support base, the community. How have they helped you in these past couple of years? After you're obviously entering your 9th season, how has it grown in your 9 years, and how have they helped support this team in your time here?
Well, you know, when I started with the franchise 9 years ago, I was really surprised. The first ever meet and greet we went to, there was tons of fans there. We never kicked a ball. So I thought it was going to be something special. I don't think I ever expected it to be, you know, the 3,000 people on a regular basis and, you know, the support and the things that we've done. I think we've done a great job as a club. I think the players that have played for us over the years have done a fantastic job in the community. We work hard, we get out there, we try and give back to this community. But yeah, the community's unreal. The support, you know, we had a ton of people travel all the way across the country. Seattle, when we went to the national final, and guys travel, you know, up and down the roads on the East Coast to come and watch us play. So yeah, the support's fantastic, and you know, we're just excited that we get to, you know, showcase our players' abilities in front of a great home fan base, and you know, hopefully we've got some really good young men that are role models for the next wave of soccer players, boys and girls, in this community in the Tidewater.
On your guys' website, it mentions a revenge season for you guys. Do you view it as a revenge season, or are you guys just gonna go out there and handle business as usual? Oh, all right. Looks like we lost Coach for a second.
Sorry, somebody was trying to call me. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're all right.
You said revenge season?
Your website mentions a revenge season for you guys. Do you view it that way, or are you guys just going to handle business as usual?
Yeah, I've not read that, but yeah, we'll just take it one game at a time. So at the end of the day, I think we're one of the most successful franchises in the country over the last 5 years. So we're everybody's cup final. So, you know, I think, you know, we want to get back to Cova Cup. It was the first year in, I don't know how many years we didn't win the Cova Cup. It was the first year we didn't win the league in the last 5 years, or 4, something like that. So, yeah, of course, we want to try and win the league championship again. We had it in our hands last year and we threw it away. But I think we showed our quality, and we're very, very unfortunate and felt quite hard done by when we went up to Vermont and scored an onside goal in the last minute. So maybe that's what they're talking about with revenge. Who knows?
That's just what I saw. Just wanted to hear potentially.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good question.
You guys have your returner, the most capped Tide player in your guys's club history, Sam Hall, returning for his 5th season. What does he add to your guys' team?
Well, he's not here yet, so he needs to get here firstly. But when he gets here, he played for me in college, so I've known Sam for a long time. Fantastic young man. Now a collegiate coach. Understands the game very well. Good person, good leader, really good teammate, and ultimately still a really, really good soccer player. I think he was very unfortunate to not get a professional contract. I think it was probably if he'd have been a domestic player, he probably would have got one. I think he was, you know, obviously the professional teams were only allowed so many internationals, but you know, we're very fortunate to have him. He's a big time goal threat. He's a great defender, and he's somebody who, you know, he loves this area. He loves the support, and he loves playing for Lions Pitch. And that's what we want. We want people who are proud to play for the shirt. I'm very, very proud to be the coach of this team, and we want guys who want to play with that sort of passion and go out and leave it on the line for us every day.
Talking about this upcoming game, you guys are the inaugural USL2 game of the week. You guys will be taking on Virginia United. A little bit of rivalry there, but what does it feel like to be on the inaugural USL2 game of the week?
That's pretty cool, isn't it? It's pretty cool. So I'm excited. Yeah, it's a pretty good rival with us in Virginia Beach. Chris has done a great job over there, and since he's been there, I think for maybe 3 years now, they've improved dramatically. They're one of our toughest rivals for the league. So yeah, it's a big game early. I think we'll go down there to their complex. It's definitely our easiest travelling road trip, but definitely not in terms of the team that we're playing. They're a really tough test. So we'll focus on that and try and do what we can control and really work hard to get 3 points and get our season off to a great start. But yeah, excited to be the inaugural game. That's pretty neat.
What are a couple keys that you think might be a key for you guys to have the 3 points and get the victory over your guys' rivals in Virginia Beach?
Well, last season we conceded late in both games against them. The second game I thought was probably at the 45 minutes in the first half was some of the best soccer we played all season. Unfortunately, we went in 1-0 up, and people say, well, why is he saying 1-0 ahead? We should have been 4 or 5 up, but then the problem was one of our players got sent off at half-time, right before half-time, sorry. So we ended up playing the second half with 10 men. So I would say let's keep all 11 guys on the field. That'll be a start. And let's make sure we play all the way to the end. They're a well-coached team. They work very, very hard. They're very blue-collar. They're very tough. And they've got quite a lot of local guys here. But, we're pretty tough too. And I think we need to show our character. And it's a difficult place to play. So, when you go into the Lions' Den, you just got to fight hard and see which way the table turns.
Early games of the season, are you looking for, is there going to be any growing pains, you think, with this team? Or do you guys think you guys will be pretty sharp out of the gate?
Well, I'd hope not growing pains. I don't think we'll be playing our best soccer at, what was it, May 9th or something like that. You want to be playing your best soccer in July and hopefully still playing. But yeah, ultimately we'll do the basics and try to do the basics very, very well. We'll try and defend, we'll try and work extremely hard, we'll try and combine. And ultimately this week in training, a lot of the stuff we've been doing is really about the guys getting to know each other and then building some camaraderie. And, over that, next few months we'll be kind of guiding these young men and giving them an idea of what our culture is as a club and what we tried to do. It's obviously been pretty successful, so I don't think we're going to change what we've done dramatically, but we'll tweak some things and do some things slightly differently because obviously you've got different players, different personnel.
All right, Coach. Anything else you'd like to add before we go?
Thanks so much for having me on. Really enjoyed it. Sorry if I was a little bit late and I'm not the most tech savvy. I'm not the most tech savvy, so thanks, Tammy, for all your help. She's our, basically fix-all here with the club. But no, we're excited about the season. Look forward to seeing all the Lions Bridge fans over the other side of the water in Virginia Beach, the Bridges. We travel far, we travel deep, so let's get over there, let's support the boys, and fingers crossed we'll be 3 points Saturday night.
I love it, Coach. I forgot to ask you, last question. I end every interview with the same question. If you could go see any artist or band, dead or alive, to see a live concert, who are you going to see and why?
Great question. I think I'll probably go to see Elvis with my dad.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the king.
Gotcha. Well, hope you guys give me some kings here this season. That's been Lionbridge FC head coach Chris Wally.
Take care.
Experience the thrill of the game like never before with NSN's Game Rewind. Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics, letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail. Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play, NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate. Call 586-304-4405 and start watching today.
Back in live on Inside the Game. I'm Nate Wangler. That is Ryan Glinsky. Good conversation there with both coaches. And I thought it was you got to do a lot of really good stuff there. You know, I like how he talked about they've really been able to build a reputation in the USL too, and clearly from what we've seen, and I think that kind of adds to exactly what this game is. You know, it's funny when the website says a revenge season. From our perspective, yes, absolutely a revenge season. It's just funny because coaches aren't thinking about all that; they're just thinking about the one that's in front of them. So I'm sure for him, obviously they want to go win a championship, like they want hardware. But it's just it's kind of funny to see him be like, "Hey, man." I mean, it's week one. Like, it's not going to be the prettiest ball ever. They're probably not going to have everyone they need. They're probably not going to be playing at their highest level yet. But there's a lot to figure out. Always a lot to figure out in week one.
Yeah, I just was reading stuff, and which, by the way, the Lionsbridge FC website was phenomenal. They're giving like breakdown. I've never seen a USL2 team have a website, you know, that in depth with information. And I saw it was like revenge season, and I'm like, okay, let's see what. I mean, maybe. And he's like, revenge season. I mean, he's like, I guess. I don't know. I was like, I was just going off what the website told me. It was not my idea, not my take. I just wanted to hear maybe, you know, what it was like. But yeah, no. Chris Wally, great interview along with Chris Mills. When we get Neil in today, we'll have another great one. I guess we get into some more comments from Shakira, because that is what what everyone likes for whatever reason. I mean, hey, she's saving
She's
us.
great.
The World
great.
Cup, which
like
by
it.
the way, which by the way, make sure you follow us on TikTok at Nat Soccer Network, Instagram, Nat Soccer TV, YouTube. If you're watching us, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Which, when I told you 82,000 views on this TikTok video when we brought up the comments originally, it's now at 90,000. So in 10 minutes, it's gotten 8,000 more views. This one's funny. Doris K. Shakira going to more World Cups than her ex PK. Technically, I'm sure they're probably at the same amount. I think they're each at 3.
Yeah.
Someone's like, this wins the internet for the day. Yeah, no, it was technically, she does not have a World Cup trophy. She does not have a World Cup trophy. She might have the World Cup best song of all time, but
she is synonymous with the World Cup. I mean, you can't think of the World Cup without thinking of Shakira. So I guess in some ways, but yes, no, you're right. It does not have a championship.
This one's great, coming from Alec Ross. Shakira saving us at 90+7. Yeah, she's saving us right at the death, right at the margins of the game. She saves us. Thank God it gives World Cup vibes. This one made no sense. DJ Nino Chicago, make the World Cup about everything but soccer. We do realize that there's been a World Cup song forever. For the amount, I don't know the amount of years, but we do realize that there have been World Cup songs just about every single tournament. There's Euro songs. There's musical performances before this opening game and right before the World Cup final. Like, people do believe that, right? Like, they know that, right?
Yeah, they should. I mean, if they don't, then I would be a little. I'd be a little confused by that, and clearly you didn't know. But no, it has meaning. It has an emotional connection too. I love seeing you crack up at things off screen that I don't know. I don't even know what you're reading over there. But you found another one.
This one's funny. Flyers 385. Yes, the World Cup song you'll hear as it goes to commercial. I never understand people who care about the music they hear when it goes to the McDonald's ad at halftime. I don't know. I don't know why people care so much about it.
Yeah. No, I agree. It doesn't. It seems, of all the things that we've talked about that again have been Americanized, you know, I don't know. I mean, that one certainly doesn't seem to bother me. But no, music is synonymous with all of it.
This one's funny. User 364, much better than Jelly Roll. Ask this though: Jelly Roll song didn't fit the World Cup vibe, but why did Bad Bunny fit Super Bowl? Guys, this is two different things here. We're not talking about Bad Bunny. We're not doing a Bad Bunny Super Bowl versus a Jelly Roll World Cup song. That's not what we're after here, guys. That is, we have lost cabin pressure with that comment, user 364. The point, we don't care about the bad. Did I really like the Bad Bunny halftime performance? Not really, to be completely honest with you. But I'm just saying, that's just not the point. You've lost the plot there. User 364.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, if anything, I mean, I feel like, the truth is that it would have been maybe more impactful with the World Cup, but
Yeah, if anything.
yeah, I mean, I didn't really have an opinion on the Super Bowl halftime. I mean, it's just a halftime show, genuinely. I mean, it didn't bother me personally, but I know obviously different people have different opinions, but no, I think I don't know.
I just
Go ahead.
saw this one, and it's a photo of Shakira with like infinity stones of like all the different songs that she has in the World Cup. Hey, I everyone says that the 2002 Jennifer Pena song is the best one out there. I've never heard it, so I will have to give it a listen. On the lead up to the World Cup, I'll give you my top 5 World Cup songs that I've heard. Again, still no Neil. Do you just want to get into like the Pistons or something? We still got about just under 40 minutes to go. We can get into the Pistons a little bit, but knowing us that we'll probably get right into the Pistons talk, and all of a sudden Neil will show up. So, let's just talk some Pistons and all that.
Yeah, let's certainly
Pistons
get
won
into it. Well,
again.
Pistons, yeah, winners last night. Now up 2-0 on Cleveland in round 2 of the NBA playoffs. Now, obviously heading on the road to Cleveland, and I can just we haven't talked to him since before Game 1. But somewhere out there in Ohio land, in Lake County, Ohio, East Lake, Ohio, a short drive away from the Lake County Captains, a man by the name of Kevin Arnold.
Dude, Kevin's been crashing out, dude.
Is probably just throwing stuff all over the place, losing his mind, watching a Cleveland organization that thought it would be a good idea to get rid of Darius Garland and bring in James, shies away in the biggest moments, Harden. I talked about this yesterday, and Donovan Mitchell bothers me a little bit, only because I feel like he should have been ours once upon a time. I just
Luke
really
Kennard.
like his game, but also, yeah, exactly. But loves to complain about not getting calls. Whatever. I mean, that cross up against Tobias Harris yesterday, he literally grabbed the back of his knee. So like, I don't want to hear anything about this, that. No, I mean, whatever. Get out of here. We could talk about OKC and the Lakers, because that is just a brilliant case study in just how much of this game has become the ref show. That team's a joke. That team is an absolute joke, the OKC Thunder. I mean, when you got 7-footers flopping like they just got shot, I mean, this has gone too far. But anyways, getting into the Pistons and the Cavaliers, it is fascinating to me the amount of money. We talk about extortion with like FIFA and World Cup ticket prices. I think James Harden has extorted more money from more organizations than FIFA ever has. Probably. I mean, to go from organization to organization to organization, and you're always pointing the finger, and the problem's never you, and there's never an issue with you, and there's always someone else to blame. You go from team to team to team to team. You get these massive contracts, and what do you do in the biggest moments? You disappear off the map. And that is exactly what James Harden was last night. The turnover issues for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, I'm not even sure we really even touched on that heading into the series, but my goodness, I mean, they can't hold on to the ball right now. And this is why when we talked about the defensive rating and why that matters in the NBA playoffs, why good defensive teams, generally speaking, win championships. And if you're going to win an NBA championship, you might as well have a top 10 defense. There are only a few exceptions to that rule. Pistons are playing great in that regard. But my Lord, was it worth the investment to go out and get James Harden? Was it worth the investment to trade a far younger player in Darius Garland, who probably would have been more productive in this system, to go out and get an aging superstar who, again, still wants to play iso ball and can't play iso ball effectively at 36 years old? I mean, it is just a laughing stock to watch him play. And then he has these little emotional breakdowns. He starts shoving people like he owns the space he's in. I really hope he finishes his NBA career with 0 rings. I really do, because James, you've made your entire career about yourself up to this point. And if that's the case, fine, take your money and go go back to the strip club or wherever else the hell else you like to spend your off season. Go back to the buffet. I don't really care. But that dude drives me insane. And I know we still have 2 more wins to get. I get it. But I'm trying to level with the Cleveland fans here. Like, your organization sold out to get a guy like James Harden. They realize the baggage that he brought. They realize that he's aging. He's out of shape. He's not quite the player that he used to be. And you're paying the price for it right now in this second round. Now, again, Pistons still got to win 2 more games. And we're not out of the woods quite yet. So there's still a lot more left to be decided. But James Harden, man, that dude bothers me. I'll tell you that much.
James, if you're getting locked up by Duncan Robinson, man, you've got some serious issues. There's no way that I could be an NBA basketball player get locked up by Duncan Robinson. But I just think when I look at this Pistons game, these past 2 games, I should say rather, they have been locking up. I think defensively, they've been really showing up. Asar Thompson, we've talked about him. Is he an untouchable? I think he is. If he could just get that offensive game going a little bit, I would really
hit a
love
3.
to see. He did, but it was called back. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, it was called back, wasn't it?
Yeah, the shot clock violation. When he made it, I was like, yeah, no, that's not good. And the Pistons, I mean, the Cavs are undefeated at home so far in the playoffs, but they have yet to win on the road in the playoffs, which if you have home court advantage, that means you should win the series, right? You should automatically, even if it goes 7 games, you should win the series because you've got it.
There. That's it. Yep.
And I'm curious to see what their response is heading into Cleveland here in Game 3, which is that game Saturday or Sunday? Probably
Saturday.
I think it's at 3.
Yeah, I'm thinking Saturday.
Yeah, it's probably at 3.
The other thing I'll say though is, I know we talked about who's to blame for the Pistons when they were down 3-1 against the Magic, right? And like I was so ready to post at halftime when we were on the road in Orlando down by 20 plus. I'm very thankful we didn't. But I remember the pressure that was put on Cade's shoulders for, if you're gonna be a superstar, you best play like a superstar in these playoffs. And he's done that. First in points, first in assists, Cade Cunningham leading the way right now in the NBA playoffs. I mean, he has taken this weight and he has carried it with him, and they're doing it by committee around him. This is what we saw in the regular season, but our superstar is being our superstar right now. That's great. I love that. You get a funny comment, Fabian, say something.
So Kevin actually is in our YouTube chat. Kevin Arnold.
Oh,
goes, I'm okay.
Man.
I'm okay, everyone. I gained a lot of haters by being so upset. I'm setting it aside. If you can't play with passion and heart, then what's the point? Just wanted on the record, I did not like the trade. We should have asked Kevin on Monday. What should they have kept Darius Garland? What would he have done to the team? Or what would he have benefited to the team? But Kevin's in our chat.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
and I mean,
hopefully things are going a little bit better for you, Kevin.
And is there something to be said here about how we wanted to trade Tobias Harris at the trade deadline? I mean, Uncle T has been playing at another level in these playoffs.
He is.
I mean, obviously with the exception of getting crossed up, but I mean, 7 straight 20-point performances in the playoffs? I get it. Like, we wanted to go get MPJ. We saw him on the board, and we're like, you know what? Trade Tobias Harris, loft somebody else in there, trade some draft picks, go get a number 2. He's been the number 2. I think if anything, that has surprised me more than anything else, the way Uncle T's been playing and shooting.
So, speaking of the Pistons and everything, we got Neil Rule finally in with us today. Neil, how you doing here today?
Pretty good, man. How are you guys? Sorry about that. Got a flat tire this morning. Like, for real, though. Not like the excuse one, like a for real flat tire. So you never realize how much of pain they are until you have one.
Neil, my first ever flat tire was this fall. I got done with the show with Braylon, and I get out to my car. I'm like, dude, why is my car slanted to the left? That's weird. And I look at it, I go, oh crap, that's a flat tire. So they're I've learned how to do one of them. I've learned it once, so it's not fun.
No, not at all, not at all. But we're here now. What's popping, everybody?
Yeah, yes, sir. Happy to see you back on 4 wheels, Neil. I just wanted to ask you a couple questions about obviously the matchups coming up this week. You got Virginia Beach United and Lionsbridge FC. We got a chance to talk to both of their head coaches. What are your expectations heading into that matchup? Pretty popular matchup. Both teams have established themselves in the USL 2. What are you looking forward to the most in that one?
No, I love it because it's a couple of teams that really fit that USL League 2 model, and it backs up to our discussions that we had last week. Like USL League 2, this is this is USL League Two. Like both of these sides are quintessentially USL League Two. They've carved out a nice identity for themselves, decent following, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for John and I to get on the mic and looking for, some highly entertaining, high quality soccer, especially too. And, I'm no stranger to USL League Two, being in the Detroit area, called the Flint City Bucks for, going on a decade now. So I know the level of talent that's there. I know that, I've called a lot of high MLS draft picks in that league, and I'm excited, like everybody else, to see who's going to be next.
What's the type of soccer, like if you could describe to anyone that has yet to see the USL 2, what is the type of competition, the level that is the USL 2 soccer?
I think it's a very, because you're getting some very, very good college players in USL League 2, like high level college players. It's right at that line where these guys are going to be pro. It's just what level are they going to fit into? And we've seen it move all across the board. We've seen guys that played in League Two that have great success at all levels, and people that have had success in MLS here in America, and also too, that have gone overseas and played. I think people forget about that as well. There's a lot of teams in USL League Two that have national team players for national teams, and it pops up, around the Gold Cup time and stuff like that. I think that's kind of the best way to describe it. That all if you're an American soccer fan and you watch all, like you're a sicko, like a lot of people are, like a lot of us are. If you're a sicko, you see these names, you'll see these names, they'll kind of go out on their professional path. Maybe you'll flip on, like I said, a Gold Cup or something like that. Say, where do I know that name from? And you'll look at it and say, oh yeah, that's right. They played in USL League Two. They played in, NCAA Division I high level, all of that. So I think that's kind of like a great comp for it. It's like, I'll say it like this, to give it the old baseball analogy, which I know we're not supposed to do, but if I'm talking to a general sports fan, like you asked the general sports fan question, when an MLB team gets a high level draft pick and puts them in like the development stages, like the like the minor leagues, I guess is the baseball equivalent of it. It's like the development stages for high talent. That's the best way that I can put it. It's exciting. Like growing up, that's what I always liked about baseball, because you always want to be first, right? You always want to be the first to say, I knew that guy was going to be good. I watched him play in USL League Two, and look at him now. He's overseas, or he's playing at the highest professional levels.
And obviously they're going to be compensated for that. We saw that in the CBA. So there's obviously going to be more coming for those players. And I remember last year, having Kevin McGonigal and Max Clark at the same level here in West Michigan. I mean, the hype that builds, it builds a lot. Getting back to the soccer portion of this conversation, I love that Virginia Beach United and Lionsbridge FC are divisional rivals. These are both Chesapeake Division contenders. It adds so much, and I think both Chris Mills and Chris Wally said this, it adds a lot to have two teams that are rivals and contenders play in game one. How much does that add to the experience kicking off the season?
Well, I like it because there's no, hey, let's warm into the season. No, it's the season. We are warm. Here we go. Right. Like that's what it is. And that right there, Nathan, that right there is what makes USL League 2 great. And I saw it when I've called matches, like I said, all across USL League 2 back at the MPSL. They called those matches as well. When you are divisional rivals and stuff like that, there's already like a built-in, and this isn't like cliche either. Like this is real, like the fans get behind it and everything like that. So, it is great because, and look, if you're these two teams, you start this season and you're jumping right into it right now. There's consequences, make no mistake. You lose this match, there are consequences immediately out of the gate. So it's, I call this, if USL League 2 season was a track event, I would call it the 800 sprint. Like it is like, it's a sprint, but you're sprinting for a minute. You know what I mean? So it is like right out of the blocks. Both these sides have to get out of the blocks tomorrow night, excuse me.
Neil, you're also doing the USLW game, correct? Tomorrow?
Correct.
What are you looking forward to in that game?
kind of the same level. And this is where USL, I think, has done another great job with the women's game, right? Like they have found their footing immediately in the women's game and looking at across all levels. And we've seen, we've seen some very, very good USL sides on the women's side as well. And Nathan, over there on the west side of Michigan, some of the sides that are over there, they put players into the SEC like regularly, SEC, ACC, all of it. High level players that ultimately, with the NWSL, when they had the draft, you would hear some of those names called. So again, it's very much of the same, and we get to do it twice on Saturday night, and I'm excited for it.
The USL has focused so much on developing these divisional rivalries, and I think it's only going to add to the experience. And obviously, these matchups are really exciting to get the season started. Neil, as always, it's a pleasure having you on, and looking forward to the action this weekend.
Absolutely, guys. I'll talk to you all next time.
See you,
yes,
Neil.
sir. Sounds good. Neil Rule, you're on Inside the Game.
Whew.
So, yeah, it is. It's going to be fun, and I think college football needs to take a page out of the USL2 playbook. All right, give me like Bama and another SEC rival right away, right out of the gate. Give me like Michigan, Texas.
Hey,
that's
with
great. I love it.
With the expanded field, I mean,
we don't have to play Panera Bread to open the season anymore. It's okay. We can
with the expanded field, which it could be a question of the day question later on today. I mean, there's no real consequence for losing in the regular season. Sorry, Nate froze on us there. Oh, there he is. He's back now.
We good.
Yeah, he froze in there for a second. Which, by the way, Kevin and I have been chatting during that Neil interview. He says, my 3-year-old gets me busy and happy. Life is good. My teams need to earn my investment back outside of the Guardians. So,
you know what sucks? You know what sucks about the series too? We're both tortured sports cities. Either way, someone is going to continue to be tortured. Either way. The only difference is that at least the college athletic programs are pretty respectable.
Yes, Ohio State just won a national championship.
I'll give you that. Yep.
Like 2 years ago. Football for Michigan 3 years ago, and then obviously basketball just now. So, I mean, I guess with all the like as horrible as our pro sports teams are, I mean, I guess it makes up for it a little bit with the college programs. Which, by the way, Kevin and I also been talking about, because he said he was a Premier League fan. He says makes the NFL season a lot easier to handle for me, him being a Browns fan, and at most times the Premier League seasons. I'm like, what's your team, Kevin? We didn't talk about this when we were working at the Major League Indoor Soccer stuff. He says United has been his team since he was 5, when his dad showed him a VHS tape of David Beckham. David Beckham was a dog. And I asked him, should Carrick get the job? He says, feels like he has earned another year, but I still have some reservations. And I go, who would you want? And he goes, could I have Sir Alex Ferguson back? Hey, I'm sure all of you guys, I'm sure every Manchester United fan would want Sir Alex Ferguson back as their manager.
Yep. You can't blame him. You certainly can't blame him. But yeah, let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll wrap up a look at our all sports content. And we're talking a little Pistons. We'll continue that conversation, as well as maybe we could talk about the Tigers on the other side of things. The injuries are just wreaking havoc on this team. Also, you know what? Well, maybe we'll save it for tomorrow. I think the Lakers talk would be interesting too. Austin Reeves and the whole team talking to the referees after that game yesterday. We should put a comp of all these OKC flops together and really show it on the show. I mean, it is getting bad here in the NBA playoffs. So let's take a break. We'll talk about all that coming up next, and then we'll get to question of the day here on Inside the Game. Inside the Game, back live here, episode 284. Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky getting into our final segment here before we get to question of the day here in about 9 minutes. Yes. Okay. I know we had to interweave the obviously the game of the week conversation in there. Appreciate Neil Rule dropping by.
I do have a stat that I wanted to put in there about the Pistons because everyone knows that I highly dislike Danish Jenkins, but he's been showing up recently. And obviously on the other side, there's a guy that I wanted back on the Pistons, which was Dennis Schroeder. So Dennis Jenkins through the first 2 games of the playoffs, or through the series, I should say, rather, 55 minutes, 26 points, 7 assists, 13 rebounds, 4 steals, 2 turnovers. Dennis Schroeder, on the other hand, 36 minutes, 13 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds, 0 steals, and 6 turnovers. I do think, though, at the same time, I think him being out on the floor at the same time as our guy, that dude, Cade Cunningham, helps a lot too, especially with kind of taking some of the offensive load, or taking the majority of the offensive load. Uncle T out there as well. So Danish Jenkins, as much as I hate him, and as much as he makes me think, what did you just do? What? Why? That's the shot we took,
right?
Hey, he's been showing up, especially in crunch time. There's a reason why he's on the floor in the final 2 minutes or the final 3-4 minutes of the game, and not Duncan Robinson, mainly because Duncan Robinson can't play defense. But he's been playing really well.
To be doing this as a 2-way contract guy is unbelievable. I mean, he might be the best 2-way contract signing in NBA history. I don't know any other 2-way guy that has made as much of an impact on this team as he has. Now, obviously, I think about that Heat team that played against the Nuggets in the finals. I felt like they had a couple of G Leaguers on that team. They were a squad outside of Jimmy Butler that was just like a who's who of who cares. Obviously, you have Bam on a bio and you have Jimmy, but outside of that, Max Strus, he made a name for himself in that NBA championship. So Danish Jenkins is doing anything above and beyond just being out there for a couple of minutes to give someone a break as a 2-way player is far beyond what we were expecting as a 2-way guy to have this impact. I mean, that's crazy. But I mean, the unpredictability, the messiness, all those other things. I mean, I know Schroeder made that one shot that helped us win that one game over the Knicks last year, but
game 2.
With the exception of that, I mean, Dennis Schroeder, dude's a mess. He's wily. He turns the ball over. He makes stupid decisions. I never loved Dennis Schroeder, to be completely honest with you, but Danish Jenkins has been a complete surprise.
He was a good ball handler. He took pressure off Cade, and I think that is a benefit of what Danish Jenkins is getting. He's getting the benefit of being out on the floor at the same time as Cade Cunningham. Cade takes the offensive load off of him. He can handle the ball a little bit. I will say there was a little bit, I don't really necessarily know if it was an adjustment or something that they just wanted to run out of timeouts, which I thought JB was pretty good out of his timeouts last night. They let Ausar bring the ball up towards the end of the game. I don't know if you noticed at the final 3-4 minutes of the game where everyone in the building knew where the ball was going. It was going to Cade Cunningham. But they kind of got him freed up a little bit. They had him run through a couple of stagger screens to get him open out of the wing, kind of force maybe a little bit more ISO situations. And I like that they did that to give Ausar Thompson, have him bring up the ball or Danish bring up the ball. Which, by the way, that Ausar 3 that we talked about not too long ago where he hit the 3, Danish, man, what are we doing, kid? We're just dribbling the ball around for 20 seconds. And then we're just going to drive, throw up a shot, get blocked, kick it to a teammate, and then they're in no man's land. That's the issues that I have with Danish Jenkins sometimes, is because he does some stupid things in the games where I'm just like, I feel like I'm watching 2024 Michigan basketball over again, where Danny Wolf is doing all these behind the leg, but behind the back passes that half of them work. And then it's like, dude, did he just throw the ball 20 rows into the stands? Is that what Danny Wolf just did? Hey, wait, Roddy Gale just did what? He just threw that out of bounds? How? That's just kind of the love-hate relationship I have with Danis. But Danis has played well in this series. He's really played well in this series. I thought in the Magic series he struggled a little bit, especially at the beginning. But, I mean, every Piston kind of struggled in that series outside of Cade.
In the playoffs, and Colin Cowherd said this yesterday, and I agree with what he said because he's talking about Lakers, OKC. Thunder. Yep. Stars rise above schemes in the playoffs. And I completely agree with that. Guys who fit well into schemes do well in the regular season. And this is why when we looked at this Pistons team, the biggest concern in our mind was, do we have the stars to rise above a scheme? Obviously we have Cade. Obviously, Duren has played like he has cement feet, but I think our stars are starting to rise in different ways, right? You see what Asar is doing. He's a star in different ways, defensively, rebounding.
He's so
obviously
long.
We see Cade being the star that he is. Tobias Harris is a shooter. He's been a shooter. He has filled that role perfectly. Same with Dennis Rodman. Duncan Robinson.
Oh, Duncan Robinson.
And Danis Jenkins. So stars rise above schemes, especially in the playoffs. And again, this is why, like, when I say I relate to what Cleveland fans are going through when it comes to James Harden, is because he should be a star. He is a star based off of what we've seen in his career, but he ain't rising above the scheme. As a matter of fact, he's dragging down everybody with him. And so that's what happens in the playoffs. Like, you need guys to go out and make plays. So if anything, I appreciate Danis Jenkins' ballsiness in his.
Oh boy. All right.
As a two-leaguer guy,
there he's back.
A two-leaguer, it takes some cojones to go out and perform that way. So I don't know. I like I like the spark that he brings to this team.
I will say, Danis, you're not going to dunk over Evan Mobley. Please. Please don't do that
Wouldn't
ever
that be cool,
again.
Wouldn't that be cool, though, if he did, though?
He got like halfway up and he was getting stuffed. Like, Evan, I'm like, oh my God, Danis, what are we doing? It's like, thank God
to
he's
have
only
the
making $3 million a year, or else like
to have the supreme confidence of Danis Jenkins is that's the goal in life right there.
It's
awesome.
Dude, it's like I wouldn't even try that. That was horrible. But there's another thing that I don't know if we quite touched on, but it's the turnovers, man. The defensive side of things, the Pistons have really amped up. And it didn't feel like we really amped it up against the Magic because it just felt like, that was game one. Okay, that was game one. 19 turnovers to 11 turnovers. Got to find game two. But I thought they were really good defensively these last couple of games. They have been locked in defensively. And someone on the broadcast, I forget which commentator said it, but he goes, this Pistons team has the makeup of all the other great Pistons teams, a guard that can score at will, Cade, Chauncey, Isaiah Thomas, and then you have a defensive, center that everyone like I don't really know necessarily wants to play against, and Ben Wallace and Bill Laimbeer, maybe Jalen Duren, and then they're just locked in defensively. That's their identity. I don't necessarily think it'll bring them a championship this year. I don't think that they're better anywhere in the same realm as the Thunder or the Spurs. I think those guys are just in a tier amongst themselves. But hey, if they could get to an NBA Finals, I think that would be cool. I think a year where the Michigan Wolverines win a national championship in basketball, we get the Pistons into an NBA Finals, and I swear to God, if Marshall win something, oh man, this might be the greatest sports stretch that I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into question of the day.
Question of the day brought to you by Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at the National Soccer Network, which, by the way, just a turnover battle yesterday. The Pistons only won by 1, so 11 turnovers to 10. Anyway, Evan is soft where Jenkins could get one on him. Okay, I got you, Kevin. Danis Jenkins probably giving you guys nightmares. Hey, he gives me nightmares too. Use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off that #1 smell-proof cleat bag that 100% works. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit saltathletic.com today. But here's question of the day. We mentioned it a little bit earlier. We teased it because, we're professionals. Thoughts on the college football playoff being expanded along with March Madness?
It's all greed, man. We don't need more games. In the spirit of trying to find the best team in college football or basketball, we don't need more games. We don't need to let more teams in because these blowouts that we see in these opening rounds are brutal. Those are season opening games, okay? If you want Tulane to take on, I don't know, Alabama, Georgia, name it, that happens in week 1. That doesn't happen in the playoffs. It doesn't happen at the end of the year. Listen, all respect in the world, right? If the Fighting Chips went out and won 11 games or 12 games and all of a sudden they punched their ticket in, Ryan, I know that you would be there. All your friends, everybody would gather around the TV and you would watch a bona fide butt whooping. I don't care who you play, but because that's
we'd win.
I like it, dude. I like it, but it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna.
We're gonna
happen.
win, damn it.
So it is so brutal. It is so brutally apparent to everybody what this is. It's greed. It's greed. It's money. It's more games. That's what it is. And listen, I completely understand that more games means more people are going to watch. If there's a game, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, more revenue,
that's what I'm saying.
TV money.
So they're not wrong. People are still going to watch it. And I think that's the funny thing because the NCAA is like, well, what are you going to do? But you're still going to sit there and watch it. And so they're right in that respect. But no, there's nothing that is going to benefit the sport at all by expanding the playoffs. If anything, Ryan, it is going to take away from the importance of the regular season.
Yeah,
that is my biggest issue, especially for Notre Dame. Notre Dame may as well just have a get in free card every year. Notre Dame, they should just usher Notre Dame into the playoffs. Here you go.
Damn,
here you go. Hey, as long as you win 10 games and your week is Jello non-conference schedule, here you go. Here's a free.
I don't have a pen.
It's like you ever play bingo before, Ryan? You ever play bingo? I know you're not that old. All right. Well, anyway, you got the free spot in the middle. That's Notre Dame in the college football playoffs.
Yeah,
they're the free spot. Just put Notre Dame right in there because we're going to expand this thing.
So
no, it's stupid.
You mentioned exactly what I was going to say. Is the only regular season in sports right now that truly matters is college football because I mean, even with the 12, you still have to win 10 games. Maybe there's a rare chance where a 9-win team can get in, and everyone always, well, the SEC should get one. Shut up. No, there's a 10-win. You got to win. You still got to win 10 games, and before that, it was you got to go undefeated or at a minimum 1 loss. Now in 20 with 24 teams, you could lose as much as 4 games. I'm sure, depending on what 8 teams that you beat, and it would mainly come from a Big Ten or an SEC school. But you could potentially again, I haven't really gone in depth on what everything is going on with the college football playoff expansion. I don't even think the details have really been ironed out. But then we've got to, with the whole games, we have to then get rid of the conference championships. There's no point of having conference championship games anymore. You've got to get rid of them all. Second thing is these games better be on college campuses. I think that's the only true, like, hey, that's cool. I mean, college football playoff campus game, that's pretty cool. Like, finally we get to see the SEC come up north. Finally we get to see Alabama come up north. I know they went to Camp Randall, but Camp Randall ain't anything anymore with how bad Wisconsin is. Another thing you have to look at is, which was going to be my second thing, the third thing is, what are you going to do with Army-Navy? I think Army-Navy should start the year now. I think Army-Navy in week 0 should start the season to get things rolling because, I mean, I love Army-Navy. I think it's the best rivalry in all of college sports because you think about it, these two teams are playing.
I think that would be sacrilegious to put it in week 0, to be honest with you. I mean, you build up the whole year for it, or don't give them their own week. I'll agree with you on that.
Then you can't let them have, or you let them kick off college football playoff and they play at like noon or something on the Saturday or something. I don't know.
Fun. Yeah,
but
I agree.
You still have to emphasize that game because it's still the best college football rivalry because those two teams are not playing for national championships. They're not playing for pride. They're not playing for money. They are playing for pride. They are simply, and plus, they're going to defend our country sooner rather than later. So, love the Army-Navy rivalry and the fact that it's like, it's just running the football. It's like just 3 yards in a cloud of dust, wing tee, whatever it is. I love the Army-Navy rivalry. But those are just a couple things that you've got to think about. Then you also got to think, what's the transfer portal now going to look like? When is that whole fiasco going to happen? Because sometimes it happens during the season, and then those college coaches are still battling for a national championship. I think the scheduling, because I'm sure there's going to be buys. Look, in the first 2 years of the 12-team college football playoff, the teams that received the first round bye are 1-7 in those games. Indiana is the only team that has won their first matchup as a bye team. So this team, or this whole scenario, college football, and the worst part is I'm still going to watch like every game damn near just because I love college football. It's one of my favorite sports. But man, it's just all over the place, man. We really need to go in depth on this on Monday or something. We really need to go in depth on it.
I agree. No, I mean, I people are going to watch it, but it's expanding playoffs, as we've learned from this being tested out.
Great games
in the National Football League, in the National Basketball Association, right? Like even like once upon a time in Major League Baseball, you had to win the division to get into the playoffs.
Yeah,
like there was no such thing as like
there was 2 wild card teams and there was single elimination.
You know,
you're right.
Yes, in the wild card was 1 game. It wasn't a 3-game series if you made it to the wild card. So if you just barely snuck in the back door, you didn't get the benefit of losing 2 games to get eliminated. So it is not now, mind you, I don't think it's taken away from the importance of the regular season in baseball, but in basketball and in football, absolutely. I mean,
also forgot to even answer my other question. March Madness also very dumb. I don't need more playing games.
Yeah, we don't. Because again, which
is going to kill the Cinderella even more because they have to play 3 times that week instead of just 2. Just saying. So when all those people complain about Cinderella's being dead, well, you killed them by the format now. So congratulations.
I think it's dead because Kentucky and Michigan can spend, $7-8 million on their roster, and everybody else.
Kentucky spent $20 million and they didn't get out of the first weekend. They were a 7th seed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I will give you that. So money doesn't solve anything or everything, but it does solve some things. But that'll be us here for Inside the Game for this week, episode 284. We will be back at it on Monday. Really exciting stuff coming up this weekend. Again, we talked about the USL2 and USLW matchups of the week. Check that out. Ryan will be at the Bruno Mars concert. I will more than likely be there on Sunday. So we are going in consecutive days, just different days from one another. But that'll wrap up this episode until we talk to you guys on Monday for 285. You've been watching Inside the Game.